Most people think you find the best real estate deals on off-market properties. I found this one on market, listed by an agent. It was listed for 130 days, and I found it. It was amazing. It's a duplex, listed as a duplex, that I converted and turned it into a triplex. But what I'm gonna do with it is a little bit different than what a traditional investor would, as well as the way I purchased it is a little bit different than a normal investor would. You see, the reason why it sat on the market for 130 days is because we have an affordability crisis. At $685,000, no traditional investor could get this deal done. And so we had to get creative. So I leveraged what they had in place, which was a 3.25% interest rate. I took over the payments of that mortgage. It was a $1,900 a month mortgage. I brought in a private money lender who funded this entire transaction where I'm in this deal for $0, and I have a 3.25% interest rate, and I'm gonna cash flow over $1,400 a month day one with the strategy I'm gonna deploy. Let's go check it out. Like I said, this property was listed for 130 days, and there's so many of those that are listed on market, just sitting there, deals waiting for you. You just need to know what to do with them. I've done over 100 plus creative transactions in the past year and a half where I'm taking over the payments of someone else's existing mortgage, just like this one. What makes this property super special is the expansiveness. It was listed as a duplex, but at the very bottom of their listing description, what they wrote is seller financing available, because they were desperate. They didn't know what they could do. The property wasn't selling. The seller had ambitions of starting a school for their children and other children here locally. And so they needed to sell this property in order to afford that. And so these deals sit out there for you guys to call on and have conversations. When I had a conversation with the agent, we quickly determined that this thing was a gem. So what I'm doing with this property and why it's so special is I'm turning it into an all men's sober living property. There's gonna be 9 tenants living in this home, getting sober. Every person in here has a job. Every person in here has a responsibility. But what makes this property so special is that I have a sober living operator who's handling everything, making it the closest thing to a triple net lease I've ever bought. I own a couple more of these things, but let me take you through this specific property and why this one makes the most sense. If you guys want to find deals just like this one with a 3.25% interest rate, make sure to head down into my description where I have an affiliate code for you to click on where I find all of my deals. I also have all of my tools and resources that I help set up my business, my corporate structure, where I find my deals, how I negotiate all my seller calls, and everything right down there in the listing description that can help you find your deals just like me. What makes this property so special, there's many characteristics of a sober living property that we look for. No HOA. This property is not in an HOA. It's actually in a really cool area where there's a lot of renters. There's a lot of apartment complexes, townhomes. So it's a very renter population out in this area. It's not a super nice neighborhood, as well as it's a large lot. You can see here, we have an entire gravel parking lot for everyone to park their vehicles. With 9 occupants living here, we're probably expecting around 6 vehicles who are gonna be here because these people have actual jobs in the community, let alone their jobs and responsibilities in this house. Right here, they're gonna list a board. There's gonna be a large whiteboard right here that every person in here who lives here has a job: bookkeeper, cleaner, landscaper, chancellor, every aspect. And they do weekly meetings, they do monthly inspections of the property, and they actually take better care of it than the majority of my properties that are just long-term rentals. And so that's what I love about sober living in terms of the overall landscape of things. It is actually a pretty passive investment with someone in place who's managing everything to allow me to go do what I do best, which is find more deals. The property, again, was listed as a duplex. We converted, and I'll show you here shortly, but the upstairs is a 2-bed, 1 bath. So there's gonna be 2 occupants. I think one of them may be a double, but 2 occupants up here, a massive living area for all of them to hang out and have their meetings, chat through all of their items here, and live their life. And if you guys are super interested in content like this, if you wanna learn how to find deals just like this one, or learn how to have conversations with agents or sellers, or learn how to negotiate these things, make sure you like and subscribe down below so you let me know that you wanna see more and more of these types of things. Here we are downstairs. This is the duplex portion of this property. This was recently renovated. You're gonna notice brand new appliances, countertops, and cabinetry, windows, blinds, everything. This was already here when we purchased the property, kind of a gem. So from a backup strategy standpoint, the property as is, we can rent it out to 2 different tenants and get 2 different long-term rental tenants in this property right from the jump. There's a private entrance right here for those tenants to come in down here. But again, we converted this to a sober living. And so a lot of the versatility of these properties is how can we add more bedrooms to the space to accommodate, to get more beds or more heads in beds to be able to juice that rent rate. So down here, what we did is this was a wide open right here. We enclosed this opening and made this into its own bedroom. So if we come in here, this is a massive bedroom. So this right here is gonna be a double. We're gonna have 2 occupants living in here. Where this downstairs was a 2-1, it is now a 3-1, but we're gonna have 2 occupants in this room. It's a massive bedroom. And it's gonna accommodate so many different people. There's gonna be men and children, people here out in our lives, in our society that are attempting to get sober. And so that's what I love about these, is that we're actually helping and providing affordable housing to people who need it in our communities and giving back instead of just getting that glitzy, glammy Airbnb as a short-term rental and trying to make as much money from it. Like, this is actually giving back to your community. This is why I love this strategy. Another big thing too, like, you're gonna notice a lot of separated bedrooms. There's gonna be some doubles here and there that they'll separate with some curtains and whatnot. But a big thing when you start to get, 7+ occupants in a home is having multiple washer and dryers. So what's really cool is this property actually came with its own separate washer and dryer in here too. So there's one downstairs, there's one upstairs. And so laundry, you don't have to lug your laundry upstairs and go to do it and bring it back downstairs. So it's gonna be completely separated. Every person's gonna have their own space and everything, but also when they have those weekly meetings, they can all come together through this entire space. But let's head over to the gem of this entire thing, where the renovations happened, where we converted in a massive garage and added more bedrooms. And let me take you through the numbers and everything. Let's head up. As we head out to the garage right now, guys, you guys are gonna see this thing fully renovated. This is not what it looked like when we bought this house. This was a 2-car garage. It had these oil mats all over right here. The refrigerator is here, which they left, which is huge again, like multiple refrigerators, right? Multiple laundry. We have multiple spaces, so they don't have to go into the kitchen. They can shut this door, have their ice, have their sodas and all the things. Extra coat storage over here. We could even add in our own little kitchenette over here, put a little burner, put a little microwave and whatnot, and turn it into its own little place where there's a chance I think we might be able to turn this into a triplex if we wanted to pivot and either sell this thing in the future, or sober living doesn't work out. We have a backup plan to be able to make this work. And that's a big thing too that I'm always thinking about when I'm purchasing these properties is I want to look at what are plan A, what's plan B, what can I be doing with the properties? I'm not putting all my eggs in a basket of it has to be a short-term rental, because what if it doesn't? What if regulations go up? What if saturation occurs, which is actively happening all across the country? This is what I love about sober living, is it's almost like recession preventative, because you're gonna have people in here who need help, and that's consistent across generations, right? Regardless of tourism, regardless of anything. And so it's a hyper stable income. And another thing too is you're gonna notice, like we just put, these are all brand new bedrooms right here. We enclosed the garage. This is a wall cap right here. We added in, we enclosed the garage, we completely sealed it off. And so full storage, we got the space heaters in place right here, the cadet heaters. We're adding in a window AC unit right here to take care of these. Is that this is so marketable when we go to resell this thing, right? From a standpoint of square footage, we just added probably about 300 square feet, maybe 400 square feet to this house, and took it from what was a 4.2 to now a 7.2. And so from a standpoint of marketability on the exit, there's that macro plan as well too. So let's get into the meat and potatoes of this deal and talk about what makes it a deal, how I bought it, what I bought it for, the numbers, the interest rate, the payment, and everything, and the lease terms. Like, what is a sober living's lease terms? So let's touch on those real quick, because I think that's hypercritical as we start, and why I reverse engineer back from that number to make a deal work. You see, I go to my end user. I look at every property as what is the best use? What is the best exit strategy for that property? Is it sober living? Is it long-term rentals? Is it mid-term rentals? Is it co-living? Is it short-term rental? What is the best use for that property? And then I underwrite each of those exit strategies to determine what's best. So on this property, we're getting a lease for $4,450 a month. And what's cool about it with sober is what they do is they do a 3-year lease up front. After year 2, they increase it $200 a month. After year 3, we renegotiate and stagger and do a 5-year lease. So in theory, we're doing an 8-year lease on this property. Again, this goes back into passive. It's not a headache. I don't have to worry about it. I can focus on tomorrow. I focus on other deals, raising more money and doing other things. So I love that standpoint. So let's go backwards from there. So $4,450 a month is my long-term rental rate that I'll be secured at. So for me, I have to go backwards in terms of my mortgage I'm gonna pay every month, my taxes, my insurance, as well as my private capital. You see, I'm in this deal for $0. I didn't bring a single penny to this deal, and we're gonna be cash flowing $1,400 plus every single month on this deal. How? Because I brought in a private money lender with whom I have built a relationship over the past year that funded everything. Everything meaning the down payment to the seller, the agent's commission who got paid on this deal, all the closing costs, so title and escrow officers got paid, my transaction coordinator got paid from this private money lender, all the renovations with my contractor Brandon got paid on this deal, and everything from there fully set up to where now we are gonna be operational here in 1 week from today, once everything is buttoned up and finished, to where we have a lease agreement for 3 years, starting to produce income for us. So we not only have the cash flow, that's great. We have a property that we expanded the square footage, we increased its equity by putting sweat equity into it, so our appreciation is gonna go up compounding. Also, we get depreciation on all the renovation costs, right? And all the property acquisition costs. But then too, you get all the loan pay down. You see, he had a 3.25% interest rate, an amazing interest rate that we took over the payments of. The debt stays in place, we just simply take over the formal responsibility of those payments. We gave him a down payment on his equity and then structured a seller finance payment to him, amortized over that same 30 years at that 3.25% interest rate. That is half of what 2025 is being quoted right now, and I'm doing these at volume. And so if this is something that you guys are interested in, whether it's sober living, whether it's private money lending, and you wanna be a part of this deal, because my private money lenders are gonna learn every aspect of the sober living aspect of things. They're gonna learn how to manage it, how to structure it, how to find these deals. If this is something that interests you, head over to my Instagram and DM me the word lender. If you wanna get involved in these, any of the sober living properties and anything else I have going on, DM me the word lender as you begin your real estate journey.